Marvel missed the mark with Iron Man 3. With Robert Downey Jr.'s upcoming return to the Marvel Universe, I wanted to take a look back at some of his earlier work, and I wanted to start with Iron Man 3. Now, I'm being a little hyperbolic, I really did like the movie, but it's far from perfect. I think it was really brave and good to put in a subplot about Tony having PTSD. It was one of the only times that they've tried to take on something real in the movies, and I applaud them for doing that. I also loved that they set up the extremist bad guys as disabled soldiers who were lured into a super soldier program. They did it because it allowed those soldiers who suffered from PTSD an opportunity to become whole again. Literally. Now that works in this movie because it allows them to serve as potential foils to Tony. A foil is a literary device designed to illustrate or reveal information, traits, values, or motivations of one character through the comparison and contrast of another. Now, that's great in theory, except they don't actually do that. Again, they don't follow through with it, and there's nothing about the story or their place within it that allows us to even begin to see them as anything other than flesh bag obstacles to the plot. Now, these soldiers needed to be given some sort of character development, some arcs. We should see what happens to these soldiers, a before, a during, and an after, to be shown what happens not only to them, but to their families and the people around them, in order for the audience to understand in no uncertain terms what happens when you ignore severe PTSD, or try to treat it with drugs and alcohol, which is ultimately what they were alluding to. However, they don't do that. The veterans barely have a handful of lines, and they're beyond two-dimensional characters. They literally turn into mindless monsters that Tony has to murder by the final battle. There isn't a single soldier alive by the end of the movie. And to add insult to injury, Pepper, who was also given this super serum and turned into a superheated warrior, is instantly healed at the end of the movie, off-screen.
As promised, I got Pepper sorted out. Took some tinkering.
Tony literally solves all of the stabilization issues that made the movie happen in the first place in a flash. It's crazy to me that they went through the entire movie seeing that these veterans are people that they're fighting, and they don't even have a throwaway line about using this technology to help those same veterans who were disabled. Can we not even pretend to care about veterans for 1 second? Or is it literally all about Tony and his friends? It was a real missed opportunity to talk about a true problem that almost every soldier faces, and it's one that's largely ignored by our military and government. Now, come here. My little conspiracy theory is that, again, they wanted to actually more thoroughly explore this concept. But because Disney had a contract with the US military, and these films serve as a sort of recruitment ad, they were told to pull back on the PTSD angle. They were forced to simplify and abandon the angle, as it would have put a lot more pressure on them to actually take ownership of and help the veterans in this country, which is a real shame. That's why I believe